What if I told you that most people are playing a game they never chose to play? And the worst part? They don't even realize they're playing it. It's a game where everyone is competing, everyone is being judged, everyone is trying to justify their decisions, everyone is fighting for their share, and everyone is afraid there won't be enough. But what if there's another game? A game where you don't have to compete with everyone around you. A game where the resources aren't limited. A game where the more you create, the more possibilities you discover. That game is the arena of desire. And today, I want to show you the wealth-building rule nobody teaches you. The arena you choose to live in may have more influence on your success than how hard you work. Most people spend their lives in what I call the arena of needs. In this arena, you believe there's only a limited amount of everything. Limited money, limited opportunities, limited resources, and if someone else gets more, you believe that means there's less available for you. So you compete, you compare, you justify, you fight. You spend your life trying to prove why you deserve what you're trying to get. Think about it. How many people wake up every morning thinking about what they need? They need more money. They need a better job. They need more security. They need more time. And because they're constantly focused on what they lack, they spend their entire lives chasing the things they believe they need. That's the game of needs, and billions of people are playing it. But there's another arena, the arena of desire. And this is where the game changes. Because desire doesn't ask, what do I need to take from someone else? Desire asks, what do I want to create? That's a completely different question. When you live in the arena of needs, you look at someone successful and see competition. But when you live in the arena of desire, you can look at that same person and see inspiration. You can see a potential partner, a potential collaborator, a source of knowledge. You don't have to beat them. You can build something alongside them. And suddenly, the world doesn't look so small anymore. Here's one of the most powerful ideas in this entire conversation. Imagine you're in a race, but you're the only person running. Who can beat you? Nobody. The only person you have to compete with is the person you were yesterday. That's how you should think about your own growth. You don't need to make more money than your neighbor. You don't need to become more successful than your friend. You don't need to prove you're better than anyone else. You simply need to become more than you were before. Because when you're running a race that only you are in, the only thing you can do is keep moving forward. This way of thinking changes everything. Imagine you're selling something. If you believe there's only one person who might buy from you, every rejection feels devastating. But what if you understand the law of averages? Maybe out of every 100 people you speak to, 4 decide to buy. Now imagine speaking to 1,000 people, or 10,000. Suddenly, one person's no doesn't feel like the end of the world. You don't have to pressure anyone. You don't have to convince everyone. You simply keep creating opportunities. That's what happens when you stop operating from scarcity. You stop thinking, I have to get this person, and you start thinking, there are more opportunities. When you move from the arena of needs to the arena of desires, something else happens. You begin trading your I can'ts for I cans. You stop saying, I can't because I don't have enough time. And you start asking, how do I want to use the time I have? You stop saying, I can't because I don't have enough money. And you start asking, what can I learn? What can I create? What value can I provide? Your focus changes. And here's the principle. Your focus on limitation can perpetuate limitation. But when you begin looking for your leverage, you start seeing possibilities that were always there. Sometimes, you're working hard and nothing seems to be happening. You start thinking, this isn't working. But what if it is? What if the work isn't working for you yet? Because it's working on you. Every skill you're developing, every lesson you're learning, every failure you're experiencing, every time you try something and it doesn't work, you are becoming more capable. The problem is that when you're operating from the arena of needs, you interpret every setback as evidence that you're losing. But when you're operating from desire, you can see the same setback differently. You can ask, what is this experience teaching me? And that question can change everything. In the arena of needs, everything feels like a constraint. You have limited time, limited energy, limited money, limited resources. But in the arena of desire, you begin looking for ways to create leverage. Instead of doing everything yourself, you learn how to use systems. Instead of trading every hour for money, you create something that can continue working beyond your personal effort. Instead of relying only on labor, you start using leverage. And that's when things begin to compound. Your knowledge compounds, your skills compound, your relationships compound, your ideas compound, your investments compound. And suddenly, you're no longer asking, how much can I do with the limited time I have? You're asking, how can I make what I do create a bigger result? But desire alone isn't enough. There's a catalyst. And that catalyst is belief. You have to believe that the thing you desire is possible. Not because you can already see it, but because you're willing to become the person capable of creating it. And this is where three things matter. First, you intend to believe. Then, you decide to believe. And finally, you discipline yourself to continue believing. Because doubt will always show up. You'll see circumstances that don't match your vision. You'll hear people telling you that it won't work. You'll experience failure. But you have to decide what gets the final word: your circumstances or your vision. There's a story in the Bible that perfectly illustrates this. Peter steps out of a boat and begins walking on water. For a moment, he's focused on the voice that called him forward. But then he looks at the wind, he looks at the storm, and suddenly he begins to sink. The storm was already there. The only thing that changed was where he placed his attention. And maybe that's your problem too. You've spent so much time looking at the storm that you've forgotten where you're going. So stop focusing on what you lack. Stop competing with everyone around you. Stop running someone else's race. Find your desire, believe in it, and move toward it. Because the moment you stop living from scarcity and start creating from desire, you don't just change what you have, you change who you become. Now tell me in the comments, are you living in the arena of needs, or are you ready to step into the arena of desire? And if you're ready to change the way you think about money, success, and your future, follow Mind Over Money. If this made you look at money and success differently, subscribe to Mind Over Money. And I want you to answer this honestly in the comments. Are you currently living in the arena of needs? Or are you ready to step into the arena of desire? Because your answer might tell you more about your financial future than you realize.